All right, so mono black control. Our last Oglandia open, we were trendsetters. We preemptively had Teferi and Reclamation banned, and this deck actually made it to the finals of our last Oglandia open a little over a month ago. We played it once on stream already, and it felt very reasonable, and I'm excited to get back to it again. If it has another even just okay run today, I think it's definitely going to go up on the website. This archetype's very unique, attacks the format from a nice angle, so let's break it down. Cody John, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, we've got a mono black control deck that's looking to generate card advantage with things like Phyrexian Arena, Murderous Rider being a threat removal spell, Dread Presence, Gonti, as well as Golos and Ugin here at the top end of our curve. And then we have Chromatic Lantern here acting as a way to not only ramp, but also give us all colors of mana so we can activate Golos to draw and cast 3 cards with it. And then we've got Mastermind's Acquisition here as kind of a generic utility card. So Acquisition not only gets us any card out of our deck, but it can also get us any card out of our sideboard. So this can let us get things like Extinction Event, Contempt, Massacre Wurm, Virulent Plague, all of these things, Grafdigger's Cage in game 1. If we have Lantern in play, it can also allow us to cast things like Ruinous Ultimatum, Inspired Ultimatum, or close the game out with a giant Banefire. Because our deck is primarily mono black, we have a bunch of basic swamps in it, 16 of them here. And we also have Cabal Stronghold, which lets us ramp up if we have a lot of swamps in play as well. So let's go ahead and dive into some games with this and see how it goes. At the start of each deck, I'm also plugging it so that way people on YouTube know. If you're looking for an easy way to support my content at no cost to yourself and you haven't done it before, check out the Raid Shadow Legends sponsor using my link to install the game on desktop. If you install the game on desktop and play through it long enough to complete the tutorial, as a thank you, I will gift you a sub to my Twitch channel here. If you drop me a message and let me know what your Twitch name is. Or if you're already subbed, you can drop me a message and let me know what deck you'd like to bump up in the queue to see a little bit sooner. I play a bunch of Raid off stream. It's a very reasonable turn-based strategy game on mobile. It's my mobile game of choice. I have a group of us that chat about in the subs Discord server, which you'll also get access to if you're gifted a sub to the channel. Jin Saku, thank you for the 42 months. Welcome back. Like it is, I believe they're a sub. Familiar name at the very least. Please be a control deck. Please be a control deck. Please be a control deck. Don't flash in a spooky spirit. No, don't do it. Oh no, not a spooky spirit. I got so excited for a second when I saw Hallowed Fountain come down and then it shocked in. It was just like, oh no. I'm going to take their Eagle away here, because if they play Kira and we draw Witch's Vengeance, we get to Wrath their board. Hey, a crappy lawyer, you did complete the tutorial. Thanks for checking out the sponsor. I appreciate it. Yeah, and if you play through the tutorial while I'm live, your name should pop up in the corner there too, and I have a dashboard that I can verify it on. Things are going well, High Card. We played a sweet combo-y ramp deck before this one. Starting off getting run over a little bit here, but we've got games 2 and 3 to come back. Cry doesn't kill all of their stuff, but I think it kills enough of it to warrant bringing it in. Extinction Event as well. I think Massacre Wurm's probably a little bit too slow to board in. It's unfortunate that our opponent's playing all evasive threats, so unfortunately Gifted Aetherborn has to come out here. Maybe am I supposed to leave this in just to, like, gain life on the bottom end? Maybe that's the case, rather than something like Agonizing Remorse. This top end's a little expensive, too. Yeah, I definitely think these evasive-based aggressive decks are one of the worst matchups for this archetype that we're playing. Probably not a terrible idea, Panda Ninja. If you're not planning to play in the Open that we're having next weekend, waiting to see what does well there could be a good idea as well. So, like, the problem with doing that decided is I need ways to actually win the game. You're right that they're slow, but after I, like, 1-for-1 and sweep my opponent's board a bunch, you like, need a way to, like, win at the end. You know, I'm interested to see where it develops, Jin. Like I talked about this earlier, I think this format's going to develop and change a lot over the course of the next six months. Not only is Amonkhet Remaster going to introduce a bunch of powerful cards to this format, but we're also going to get the first Pioneer Master set this fall, which will inject a number of incredibly powerful cards into the format that'll likely change what the landscape looks like a little bit. Yeah, Masterminds theoretically gets us win conditions if we don't need an answer, which is one of the reasons why I like leaving it in. Have they said what sets are in Pioneer Masters? So, Pioneer Masters will have cards from the entirety of the Pioneer format, and which cards go into Pioneer Masters will likely be dictated by, which cards go into Pioneer Masters will likely be dictated by difficulty to program, as well as how played they are in the format. Hey, Just John. Thanks for checking out the Raid Shadow Legends sponsor. Appreciate it. I'm going to hold this Disfigure for now and go ahead and Murderous Rider this while they're tapped out. I think there's value in resolving my more expensive removal spell while it's guaranteed to happen. Unless Zendikar 3.0 has some powerful cards in it, the next standard will be made out of 100% Eldraine cards. I think that's a little bit extreme. I think there will likely be a number of Eldraine cards, but 100% is a little high. Trying to predict what a format looks like when you don't know what 20% of the card pool is tough to impossible. It's generally speaking something you should shy away from doing. Put the fear of Disfigure in him, chat. So by electing to cast our spell in the second main phase, they're afraid to block, which is nice. Just gonna grab Swamps for my Cabal Stronghold at this point. You have brazenly borrowed, opponent. They actually didn't need to shock that in, right? Because they have, this makes it cheaper. A little bit of a mistake on their part. I think I'm just getting a removal spell. I could just get Languish. I'm just gonna get Heartless Act. Their Watchers are not spirits, and neither was Brazen Borrower. So it was not fully one-sided, no. Which is why I didn't go for that with the tutor. Have you heard about my bird? I said a bird. Bird's the word. I said a bird. Do 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 do. Have a good one, Cody. Thanks again for the biddies. Advantage was on top of the deck, so why bother? Yep. The only bird I recognize on wood is Omen Hawk. Hawk's a good one. Hopefully we draw Swamp. This makes colorless, so I can't Aetherborn on 2, but I think the spells in here are good otherwise. BT dubs for folks that are my regulars. I posted my schedule for the week on Twitter, Discord, and my website. It's a little bit different than what it has been because we're doing a raid-sponsored segment tomorrow, and then Amonkhet Remastered is releasing, and then Amonkhet Remastered is releasing, and then the Open is next Sunday. So my plan... Hey, speaking of the raid segment, thanks Major Tom for checking out the sponsor. I appreciate it. GG! Bye, friends. We've got spirit. Yes, we do. We've got spirit, and now you don't. Woo-hoo! Does Amonkhet come at the usual update time? Yeah, it should. So for people that didn't look at my schedule, my basic plans are on Tuesday and Wednesday. Since Amonkhet drops on Thursday, I'm planning to do only 1 Magic deck and 2 Runeterra decks on Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Thursday, Friday will be all Magic, so we can do a bunch of decks that... so we can do a bunch of decks with the new cards. So we'll do a little bit extra Runeterra Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll be doing all Magic Thursday, Friday. Oh yeah, I should totally hold this one for Dread Presence. I thought about that in my head, and then I started taking game actions while talking to chat, so that could definitely cost us. For Dread Presence, denied. Our steady flow of cards from Arena here. Should be a pretty easy-ish win from here for us, especially with Languish in hand. Started playing Runeterra and I enjoyed it a lot. Awesome, Sluggo The core gameplay in Runeterra is just phenomenal. Cannot say enough good things about it. I think if they hit their set release goals and release sets every 2 to 3 months for the next year and a half or so, they're going to flesh out into something really great. Should we snipe their Castle of Interest? Yeah, maybe. Gonti. Gonti's a very good card. The fact that it generates card advantage for you. The fact that it generates card advantage for you in the mid-range and control matchups, but also has Death Touch when against aggressive matchups is very powerful. How's the Princess of Oglandia doing? She's doing really well, Fat Butters. She's hitting all of her target marks in terms of growth metrics and sleeping and pooping and all the stuff babies do. Mom has recovered well. Right? Isn't known for being good at balancing. Yeah, so one of the things that I would discourage people from doing is a lot of people have like talked about, they like keep comparing League of Legends decisions to like Runeterra decisions, and that's like, doing that is like saying Magic, doing that is like saying Black Lotus isn't a well-designed card and Time Walk isn't a well-designed card, so like the next standard set's gonna be bad. Yeah, like my experience like with Runeterra so far has been like their teams have been really on top of keeping things balanced and communicating with people. And yeah, and I mean like people do things like that all the time, and I just think it's unfair and unreasonable. Sure, that's an even better comparison. It's like comparing things from Magic to D&D because they're both Wizards of the Coast. The balancing in League is good. People are just bad at blaming their failures on balance patches. I'd believe that too. I don't know. I've never touched League of Legends, so like I don't have any experience with that. The Runeterra is my first time touching their IP or their products. All right, so Luris likely means they're the enchantments deck, right? Good games like it is. Good luck with the rest of your laddering today. Is this good enough on the play? Maybe. I get to Agonizing Remorse on 2, Lantern on 3, and if I hit any land, I get to guaranteed Golos on 4. Hey, Squirrel. Thanks for checking out the raid sponsor. Drop me a DM and let me know if you'd like to have a sub gifted to you on the channel, or you would like a to bump something in the deck queue. Probably just taking their threat here, right? Wolfie plug in our raid community too. Myself and a bunch of us play a lot of raid on the Discord server. So if you play through the tutorial and you do like it, the game plays on mobile as well in addition to PC. There's a bunch of us that chat about it in the subs Discord pretty regularly. So these give +2/+2 and hexproof if it's an enchantment creature. I think I'm just disfiguring this. Am I? Yeah, let's just go to my turn. Sweet. Alright, so just Golos down as a fat blocker. Riot still hasn't buffed my APM. How can I trust them to balance a card game? Yeah, people complaining about things like 4-mana Teferi and like my go-to ban list complaint is often Carnage Tyrant, right? Like people complaining about things like Carnage Tyrant do a disservice to the community as a whole because those complaints minimize when there's actual issues. I think I'm supposed to not block here because if I draw an untapped land, I get to activate Golos. Whereas if I block, they're gonna double blessing me, which isn't great. Hopefully they try and blessing this in response. If they blessing this in response, we blow them out. You are in rare form today, child. Then I think I'm just disfiguring one of these now to make them pull the trigger on Blessing, so that way I can block with Golos next turn. Am I blocking with Golos next turn? No, I don't think I am, actually. Let's just get in here, because if I draw a land, I want to activate Golos. We're still at 14. This is the part where we hit 3 lands, right? Yeah, this is fine. I think I'm saving this to block. How do you feel about how much weaker reactive spells like removal and counter magic are in Runeterra compared to magic? I think it creates better gameplay, Topher. I also think it's a stretch to say that they're strictly weaker in a lot of ways, because I think that the way spell mana works means they're more different than just weaker. Like if the mana systems were different, I would agree with you that they're weaker, but the way the mana system works in Runeterra makes them just basically just different. Alright, so we're done now. The game is ended. Yeah, that's true as well. The fact that combat is fundamentally different in Runeterra is changes it. And also, like, the fact that burst spells exist also changes the dynamic a lot as well. One of the things I love about Mastermind's acquisition is that because this card gets things from your main deck, you get to board in your answer still, which is nice. We're going to trim Gonti. Yeah, I think the red black sacrifice decks is one of the best decks in Historic at the moment. It's very, very good. Maybe I want to keep Dread Presence as a piece of top end. 2 discard spells probably better. Let's try this. It just feels to me like proactive effects are much stronger than reactive effects in comparison to magic. Disagree completely. I think your premise is fundamentally flawed. I think that a lot of the interaction in Runeterra is tied to units that you put into play, but on average, being interactive in Runeterra I think is much better than being interactive as Magic a lot of the time. Magic is a game that heavily rewards people for being proactive as opposed to not. Hey, Emma Spin, thanks for checking out the raid sponsor, and Sergeant Beatstick, appreciate it. Drop me DMs, folks, and let me know if you'd like a sub gift or to bump something in the queue. You want an easy way to support my content? Give Raid to install using my link there. I mean, just like for reference, that's still a pretty small sample size. Like in general, I would encourage you to focus on talking about why particular decks are good, like the details of it, as opposed to saying like, this is my win rate, it's good because of my win rate. And in general, I would heavily discourage people from focusing on why decks are good arguments directly related to my sample size that's not even triple digits. Ideally, your sample size is to have some remote type of confidence interval that's reasonable. You want them to be like 4 digits even. Like single users are not generating statistically significant sample sizes on their own. It's just not possible. This is the part where we get Spell Pierce straight. Yeah, agree. Not even people like Crokeys who like lives on Magic Arena are playing enough games for that. So next turn, we'll be able to play Chromatic Lantern and then also play a 3-drop. Depends on what they play to the board here. If they play a unit out this turn, we'll want a Murderous Rider to get a blocker / lifelinker out. Okay. Languish, please. I think I need to just do this. It could also be right to just, like, play this, hope they brick for a turn, and then, like, give ourselves a better chance to draw into a sweeper. They're spending their turn putting Luris into their hand. That's real good for us. Okay. Although I suppose they have Arcane Flight next turn, so they're going to get to lift this off. Yeah, I think creatures in Magic on average tend to be so non-interactive that a lot of times when people go to games like Hearthstone or Runeterra, where the units that you're playing with on the board tend to be more interactive, they tend to automatically think that those games aren't as interactive because the interaction is more focused around board interaction than like spell or stack-based interaction. Wow. Okay, so this gets Languish, and then Disfigure kills Spirit Dancer. Or do I just get Ugin? Do I have enough to Ugin? I'm one short of Ugining, and I can get Spell Pierced on the Ugin. Maybe I'm supposed to attack with this first. Yeah, a lot of people I've heard a lot of Magic players complain that Hearthstone isn't very interactive, which is just, it really shows how flawed players' understanding is of the word interaction. Like, you're allowed to have personal preferences, and like discussing personal preferences is fine and it's reasonable, but like when people complain games like Hearthstone aren't interactive, they're just fundamentally objectively wrong. Hearthstone on average is way more interactive than a game of Magic because in Hearthstone, every unit is basically a removal spell. Now, like, from a personal standpoint, I definitely enjoy Hearthstone's gameplay a lot less than Magic's gameplay, but to say Hearthstone is less interactive than Magic is just fundamentally flawed. It's just wrong. So, I agree with you that removal is less strong in that game in Runeterra because it's more expensive in terms of mana, even though Runeterra has a more... I don't even know if I agree with that, though, because, like, in a game like Runeterra, where you're guaranteed to have a resource every turn, and you can bank mana across turns, the fact that your murders are more expensive, but you're guaranteed to hit your mana sources is, like, a big deal, right? Yeah, the spell mana system and the guaranteed mana just changes the dynamic of everything. I don't know if I agree with that at all. The opponent's archetype is easily the most popular deck we've played against on the ladder. It's definitely far from every match that we played. Like, I don't know, you could go back and look at it anecdotally. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a third of our matches, but a third's probably the high end. Hey, show me all secrets. Take your threat. You think we're in garbage time already? I don't know. They go land Lurrus here or land other threat. Okay, I agree, Kepi Lawyer. I agree with that position too. That like for the most part, you just shouldn't be drawing comparisons. It just doesn't really make sense to. So I'm gonna force them to use the blessing here, and then hopefully we hit a removal spell for this next turn. I'm gonna grab Cabal Stronghold to potentially ramp with down the line. Leave my Death Toucher back. See if they hit an evasive card here. One of the things about Runeterra, if you're going to play it coming from a Magic background, is you have to unlearn some things. Because there are a number of good habits that you develop from playing Magic that are just actively bad habits in Runeterra. Really want to draw a basic swamp here. Am I drawing with Castle? Think so. This is a little aggressive. Alright, now the game is ended. We're done here. They don't have a land? Yeah, this is... my play was aggressive, but their play was just unreal greedy. Do not think they should have attacked there. Bojuka Bog's a great utility card. What do we think, chat? Concession Ugin, or do they have a Spell Pierce? Do I wait a turn? I feel like I probably wait a turn, right? So I have 8 mana right now. This is 9. If I hit a land next turn, I can Ugin around Spell Pierce. I get kind of punished if they hit a flying or unblockable enchantment. But other than that, I like waiting. This is my gain 8. There are many like it, but this one is mine. So both of these cards need to be Spell Pierces. Or we have to miss a land. Yeah, if we miss a land, we can just activate Golos. Okay, so if we hit a land here, we'll have a concession again. How long have we been on this one for? About 40 minutes. That's fine. They're not killing us. They're gonna get to draw a card here, but again, they're gonna need double Spell Pierce. And even then, that might not be enough. If I draw another Swamp next turn, I think we beat double Spell Pierce with the Cabal Stronghold. So yeah, okay. So this will be a concession again. Yeah, this deck's definitely going up on the website. Super impressed with this again today. Bye, friends. Okay, Ugin minus. Target opponent's head explodes. Thank you. Thank you, Eugene, for taking out the trash. Thank you, Eugene. Thank you very much. But they were leading 43-14. Yep. It's not a scoreboard, folks. It's not a scoreboard. Yeah, definitely, Ninich. Just as a heads up, the variety game queue will work the same as all the other queues, all the other things in the queue. With the asterisk that they're only going to be played during the variety segments, which will come back to the channel starting next week. Maybe the camera's not quite dead center like it usually is. Hey, Lakisa Alu, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Huh? I think I want to take their veto here. This matchup is free. You think it's good for us? Can see that. Sticking Phyrexian Arena here is huge. You know what feels really good? They're not going to untap and bounce this. They could untap and Narset at us. If they Narset at us here, we could be in trouble. Didn't get prisoned. Nailed it. I think I'm taking Omen of the Sea here. That's a little bit unfortunate. Was hoping to ramp into this. To be fair, Oath with the new Teferi is pretty good, right? I can also just, like, grab Duress to try and clear the way for Ugin. I kind of don't hate that. Thought Destroyer should be good in the sideboard for this matchup. Yeah, but, like, this isn't really, like, the format would need to look a lot different for me to, like, want to dedicate a slot to a matchup like this. Oh, God. Discard spells are so tilting. 5 mana Duress confirmed cursed. Yep, wait. Cleared the way, chat. We figured it out. We did it. Well, poop. Inspired Ultimatum is very good. Yeah, I feel like something like Ulamog would be better than something like Thought Erasure. I feel like I'd reach for Ulamog in more spots than I would reach for something like Thought Distortion. So I have 9 mana total here. I have 8 in this. So next turn we can Agonizing Remorse and Inspired Ultimatum at the same time. So that way they can't peel the counterspell off the top on us again here. So like both of these have to be counters for this to not resolve. This stream was pre-recorded in front of a live studio audience, chat. Never forget. I think I'd rather run Arena into an Absorb than run Ultimatum into an Absorb. Could go either way on that, though. All right, they didn't peel on us again. We dodged it. We dodged it the third time. Whew. Keep your shatters, opponent. Keep your shatters. I kept my mouth shut that time and they didn't peel the counterspell. Should just shut up to start, apparently. They kept redundant shatter over keeping... Hey, Mari Groth, thank you for the 39 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hope you're staying safe out there. Well, the good news is our next Mastermind's acquisition... Our next Mastermind's acquisition is going to be a lethal Banefire, right? I'd like to kill that one, please.
My past is catching up to me.
Making a 3-3 in response to the Ugin. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it pays off for him here.
And you will grow lost to history.
I think we board in the Banefire, or is that worse than this? Do I just board in the ultimatums? And, like, cut these? Or cut, like, the Heartless Acts? Because remember, I can just search for these out of my main deck if I need to. Is it crazy to board these in? I'm going to draw them sometimes without Chromatic Lantern, but I think it's right. I think that's right. You can also peel them off of Golos activations. Yeah, that's a good call. What should I buy in Arena if you want to play Historic? If you don't have a playset of Shocklands yet, I would recommend buying booster packs from the sets that have Shocklands in them to start. Alright, you see this Gifted Aetherborn? He's going the distance. He's going full speed. Mystic Dispute is just fine. Like, Mana Leak is like a fine card. This is also arguably one of our best cards in the matchup, especially when we have a lifelinker going. I'm just gonna trade resources here. Oh, I shouldn't have played the castle out. They have an opportunity to field my castle now before I get to activate it. Fuck. It's a pretty big mistake. Puts us down a card. So should have held the castle in hand until I'm like in my head. I was like, I want to hold swamps for after this, but that was never resolving, so that was a mistake. I just clicked through my attacks there. Feels Magic Arena, man. So should be up a card. They should be down a life, and we should be up 2 life. If I had clicked and played better. I'm holding on to these remorses until we get to a point where I have something I want to resolve. Because if I sit on these until I have a spell I want to resolve, I'll have a better chance of actually tagging a counterspell that I care about, because I'll have more chances to draw those counterspells.
This isn't my first time being the hero.
Yeah, Yorian should have made you had like 30 or 40 extra cards easily. This is my 6/5 for 6. There are many like it, but this one is mine. We're not going to be able to kill them. I'm going to go ahead and try and attack down this Teferi here.
I don't have time for this.
If they hit a untapped land here, they get to Shark and trade it with my Worm, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. They do not have a land. Deal.
Just come back yesterday.
Not the best ultimatum we're ever going to cast, but, you know, hopefully our opponent doesn't draw anything that plays to the board and this Worm just overruns them. Hey, please die. Hey, look, chat. My opponent has died. 4, 8, 9. Bye, friend. Nah, I think Banefire's better style points than just Ultimatum there. And it's been sweet. Speaking of things that are sweet, Arena's been open for 2.5 hours, chat. So black spinning loading screen of death. Yeah, the Arena features. What are memory leaks? Baby, please hurt me. Please lag my game. Oh, 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 he, he, he. Yeah, I think things like Thought Distortion are unnecessary for the blue-white matchup. I think if you wanted an extra card to hedge blue-white, like you were experiencing a lot of it, or you just like viscerally hate losing to it, I think I'd rather play a 10-mana Ulamog rather than a Thought Distortion. Ulamog is similarly backbreaking against blue-white, and will have more application in other places. Easy keep. What are the banner picks for this one? Chromatic Lantern, Mastermind's Acquisition, and then what's the third? I don't know that I have a good third offhand. Hey, DVMTG, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Ugin could be a good one. Yep. I think we take Uro here because it exiles, and then like we plan to just Murderous Rider Nissa. Like they have a guaranteed turn 4 Nissa this way, but I think that's like not a big deal. We could do Cabal Stronghold. I like that. I like that suggestion. Use the hidden mode to kill the land tier. Hey, DV, thanks for doing your part to keep yourself and others safe. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. I want to go ahead and disfigure this Land War Elf. I think I want to hold Languish in case they peel another Nissa. I would like to try and keep them off Ulamog mana if possible. Chromatic Lantern's a great draw here, because it means I'm going to be able to go Mastermind's Acquisition into Jeskai Ultimatum to gas back up. It does not, Faust. So, the reason why most search effects show you what's being added to hand is because they only get specific card types, whereas Mastermind Acquisition gets anything. So because it's not limited on the types of cards it can get, it doesn't have to reveal it. Basically, revealing things like that in Magic is a way to ensure people aren't cheating. In paper Magic. And so the paper boomers know everything's legit. Untapped land, please. Untapped land, please. Nailed it. Do you have main deck counterspells? You do get to know if they're getting it from sideboard or main deck. You have to announce which of the two modes you're using when you cast it. The land shall conquer you. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. I feel like the way I lose this game is Ulamog, so it's very important that I kill Nissa this turn. I'm gonna grab my other Murderous Rider. And then we'll Heartless Act this forest. Mean deck Aether Gust. Feels magic, man. It's not the end of the world, but it's annoying. So the problem with -5ing the Ugin is then I lose the Ugin, but you're right, that might be the play. You can field their creature. No, field does not hit basic lands. I do think it's correct to trade with Duress here because, again, the way I lose this game definitely involves an Ulamog, so I think prioritizing keeping them off of Ulamog mana at all costs is important here. I have Golos and Gonti to generate some card advantage with.
Greater matters to attend to.
Is that a good one, chat? It's garbage time. You don't have to go home, but you can't play here. Do 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 do. Who's the ramp deck now, opponent? Ramp it up. Do 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 do. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 mana. X is 16. Trigger. Oh no. It's pretty unlucky he had to discard the hand size there. Can someone in chat work up on coming up with a game plan on how we overcome our opponent's insurmountable card advantage they've assembled? I need the whole team to work on it, please. This turn was above average. It's above average turn. Man, our opponent is not a quitter, chat. They are a lot of things, but a quitter is not one of them. Ah, yes, the dread presence was the tipping point, chat. I always, when you're playing decks like what we're playing, it always makes me chuckle when you see like what your opponent's like breaking point is. You're like, oh yeah, that was the turn where you could no longer win. It was definitely the dread presence, right? The dread presence is what put it over the top. All right, what are we doing here? This is probably a Phyrexian Arena matchup. Probably Gifted Aetherborn out. I think I like Disfigure because it can kill Land War Elves, which is nice. Is this match usually that good? I don't know. I've only played this deck once before today. Extinction Event as a way to hit Ulamog. I mean, I can wish for that out of the sideboard. I don't think I want that card on average a lot of the time. Since when is Virulent Plague in Historic? The first or second anthology? They added Virulent Plague when they unsuspended Field of the Dead. Thank you, Jeff, for being consistent and loud in your demand from Wizards. I'm grateful that you and others helped make Historic playable again. If the rumors of Thoughtseize are true, hopefully we can do it again. I don't... Thoughtseize is definitely coming to Historic, and I don't expect that card to be removed. Every non-standard Magic format is a Thoughtseize format, and that will be the case forever and always, basically. I do, however, think there's probably a pretty good chance that, like, myself and Andrazi and, like, Day 9, Merchant, like, there were a lot of content creators that said that they were taking a break from Magic for a bit, and I think the lot of us are definitely in part responsible for them finally being like, oh, we should make our game fun. we should worry about more than win rates. So the 16 months Fear Burger, welcome back. I appreciate it. There's a reason for the Just Guy Ultimatum instead of the Teamer one. It's because it's interactive, Slim Onesie. Gaining life and killing something are both very good. Also, like, a lot of our deck isn't permanence. One, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're 1 mana off of Ulamogging us. They can Ugin us themselves this turn, but I've got a Murderous Rider, so it's like not a huge deal. I would agree with that for sure, Elusive. Consistently the loudest. That could be like my tagline, honestly. Jeff Hoagland, consistently the loudest. See if they have a negate here. It's their last card. They do not. I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna field their castle here to keep them from Ulamogging me next turn. The Torment of Hailfire from Amonkhet. Do you think that card's playable here? Nah, probably not. The reason you don't stream Modern is because you dislike Moto or because of the format? Yes.
Let's make this quick.
I do not ever intend to play a format of Magic where the card Teferi Time Raveler is legal ever again. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're at Ulamog mana. They don't know about this. They do know about this. I think I'm just gonna languish into Murderous Rider here. And then next turn we can Ugin. And for the record, it isn't even just like the game. It isn't even just the graphics of Moto that are tough for me. It's the fact that Magic Online is just so god-awful slow to play. Like, physically, the time it takes to physically play Magic Online, even when players are playing quickly, is just glacial. The lack of an auto tapper and rope timers is tough. Yeah, I'm not taking Moto Leagues for $50, no. What you got against Glacial? Grapple, thanks for the 27 months. Thanks for the Ugin opponent, I appreciate you. Looking to dodge Nissa here. Nissa would let them kill Ugin.
Behold, nature's true power.
I did all I deemed appropriate.
Alright, need to draw some live ones here. How's that for a live one, chat? Feels magic, man. It's just how it goes sometimes. Gotta take your lumps. What's my breaking point for what, Nanich? Yeah, I'd get a tattoo on my face for low six figures. I guess I don't have blue mana. Listen, chat, unless you've got a cashier's check ready to go for low six figures, don't ask me any of the details about it. Does Ashiok's passive miss Acquisition's Wish mode? It does. Didn't draw negate. Really surprised they are milling me. Are they planning to deck me with this card? Is that the game plan? I guess that could work, I suppose. Yeah, like when I saw the Ashe, I was like, okay, they're gonna escape the Urofester. Holy crap, we dodged the Nissa, chat. Maybe I'm not supposed to play these out if they're planning to deck us. Maybe this was loose. Just a negate? The pause on the Lantern makes me worried. I don't think this Ugin's gonna resolve. Uro's gonna bury us. These are actually pretty good hits. Yeah, no pause on that. Definitely makes me think we're dealing with the gate as the last card. So hopefully they negate this. And then next turn we'll Ugin and clean some things up. Wow, not negate. Okay, what's their last card? They have like an Aether Gust or something? Show me all secrets. Excuse me? You had the gate? Really? As you will. Sure. I think they like super undervalued their there. Gust wouldn't stop on a black spell. It would because they have green cards in play, Snipery. Yeah, we have enough cards. Let's just keep bolting them.
Do not ignore my
Bojuka Bog. Sure.
I come bearing the wisdom of the ancients.
Alright, so they're dead. 3, 3, 3, 2. Or 2 from the swamp.
Consider this a warning. Ghostfire, my greatest creation.
Alright. Sick. Went in on a high note. I feel like beating up a ramp deck's usually a pretty high note. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a banner made up for this one for the site. Mastermind's acquisition, Chromatic Lantern, and I think Cabal Stronghold are the 3 card arts I'm gonna have my art guide do up. As far as the deck itself is concerned, I feel like Goblins has been appropriately pushed out of the format a good bit, which I think means I no longer want Witch's Vengeance in the main deck. Having some in the 75 is probably fine, but I think I would swap these. I would err on the side of having Cry in the main for the Cat Oven decks that have been going on. I think the Goblins deck has a hard time against Cat Oven decks. It has a medium time against Sweepers. It's not great against Mono Red, stuff like that. When we get Thoughtseize, in the new set, I think we very easily just drag Agonizing Remorse down here and turn it into Thoughtseize. So to kind of do what we did yesterday, I think we do something similar where I think Agonizing Remorse becomes the your second best discard spell in the format. So pretend these Duresses are Thoughtseize, you put 4 Thoughtseize in the main, and then you put 2 Agonizing Remorse in the sideboard for when you want discard spells 5 and 6, I think, is what it ends up looking like. How do you feel about Blast Zone? I don't know. Getting Blast Zone with Golos is like really slow. I think I like the mix of utility lands. Every land you put into your deck that's not a swamp for Cabal Stronghold comes at a real cost. I think the Cat Oven matchup for this archetype is fine. I think especially with access to Grafdigger's Cage in game 1 and things like Cry of the Carnarium, you have a pretty okay Cat Oven matchup. If you've played, yeah, and this is swamp adjacent, right? Because it finds us swamps. This is better than a swamp in some situations too, because of Dread Presence, which is nice. And remember, Cabal Stronghold explicitly only counts basic swamps. You want a lot of access to those. So I think when I throw this up on the site, I'm going to wait until Amonkhet Remastered happens so I can put it up there with cards from that. But I think this is about what we'll start this at. Thoughtseize, Agonizing Remorse, etc. I'll double check the list, but I think Thoughtseize offhand is the only easy upgrade. I don't know. It depends on what the format looks like, Panda. So, like, obviously, people ask you questions like, do you want this for this matchup? Do you want that for that matchup? Like, this is a control deck. The answers you should be playing in your control deck are dictated by the format in which you're playing them. So, like, if you think Mono Red's going to be popular or you want to hedge Mono Red with the deck, sure. Put a couple of Gifted Aetherborns in the main. Stuff like that. So you can and should make changes to your interactive deck depending on what you want your removal and answers to line up against and when. So, all right. At any rate, that's going to wrap up for Magic for today. I'll be back again tomorrow morning with some more Magic the Gathering. Posted my full schedule for the week on my website and my YouTube channel and Twitter and all that yesterday, last night, this morning, at some point. We're going to shift gears into some Runeterra for the remainder of the stream, which you haven't seen that. That's Riot's all new